I have read 22 issues of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's The Amazing Spider-Man, but of those, I've enjoyed maybe 5. I've slammed the writing, the art, the action, and those volumes are 2 of my bottom 4 comics that I've reviewed so far, with the other 2 being runs that I've stopped entirely. So why can't I stop this one? First up, Steve Ditko. I apologize, man. I wasn't familiar with your game, and I have really come around to the art. Honestly, part of this is just having more comics under my belt at Greg Rucka, but I don't know what I ate or what neuron is fired, but this art really has finally clicked. I really appreciate how expressionful, colorful, and just warm this art is. It really reminds me of like an old Mad magazine. It does also help that the art in this compilation is just better too. Like, we get some really cool forced perspective and these really adorable pinups. Enough dilly-dallying though, let's talk Spider-Man issue number 21, The Scorpion. Ooh, scary. It's not actually really, it's really bland, but at least Jonah Jameson, my guy, has a part to play in it. It doesn't help that the love story too hasn't been good since like issue 10, and we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. I need some actual plot development. Please, Stan, please give me some plot. No! Spider-Man's fight with the Scorpion is meh. I have this weird like dissonance where I did kinda enjoy it for the vibes, but I can't like hit record and recommend it to you with a straight face. Also, step aside the Vulture. This is one of the lamest suits I have ever seen. If this were like an early issue, it might have gotten away with C. D tier. Okay, well that was a bit of a rocky start, but how about the next one featuring yet another original villain, the Beetle? Can it get us on the right track? No. It's not good either. There's no law against a man owning an armored costume. This one though is at least a bit funnier, and Spider-Man still talks like Gex if you're wondering. And I can't say like the writing has gotten better per se, but I have learned not to read every single word. But if you do, it does reward you with not 1, not 2, but 3 asbestos jokes. But at the end of the day, it's another boring villain, boring love story, boring Human Torch. Like, why can't I get another Fantastic Four member, please? The main quest of this issue also is to like cuck Human Torch, which I'm almost desensitized to at this point, which is an insane thing to say. I like it when all the Fantastic Four are there, but when it's just Johnny, it's been pretty lame so far. This issue does end though with a pretty sad retrospective on how lonely it is to be Spider-Man, and that page alone saved it all the way to high C tier. You know, in the intro to the volumes, usually Stan Lee gives like an overview on the collection with some funny anecdote, but this one he's like, what more do I really have to say about Spidey's 3rd issue? And after reading this, I can see why he was at a loss for words. Oh, what's next? This issue features the return of the circus guys from that Daredevil issue last time. Yay. Although I will say this about this issue, women in this series usually do not get like a lot of written opportunities to be funny, but this issue, all of the female characters are just absurd. You must think I'm a jealous female. Boy, I wish I could draw feet like that. And credit where credit is due, the art is super colorful, it looks really nice. I do love in this one where Spider-Man beats all of the villains except for this lady. He's like, I can't fight a girl. So then he tries to reason with her to just like surrender, and it's amazing. You know, I am really starting to like this trio of Betty, J. Jonah Jameson, and Peter. I think they're really starting to get the flow right, and their scenes are probably some of the strongest in the volume.
It is 2 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Okay, you know what? I think I could sneak this into low C tier, but now we got some more Gobby and Foswell. Foswell, if you'll remember, was the villain, the big man, way back in issue 10, and now he's served his time in prison and goes back to work at the Daily Bugle. And back to Green Goblin, his master plan is to pit Spider-Man against some criminals. So, nice. The action here though is really cute when Peter takes his call from Aunt May in the middle, and it's very similar to Daredevil. This extra bit of sauce really helps the flow of things. And we get this cute little pinup at the end. That's a high C tier. Now I get it, that wasn't the hottest start, but this one I promise is really good. Also kind of funny that this is the 4th or 5th time I've seen Peter go to a therapist. And we're still constantly talking about money, but it's okay. I'm over it. It's endearing now. At this point too, the ratio of narration to dialogue is a lot lower as well, so I think the overall quality is definitely improving in this issue. And Betty is the prime example. She gets some really nice moments, and it's pretty fascinating to see what a situationship was for baby boomers, since I don't really see that portrayed much outside of Gen Z. And this issue has the best art so far. So many great forced perspective and offbeat panels, and we get a teeny tiny bit of panel design, so I will take it. In terms of the plot, Peter basically starts having these hallucinations, and I love how paranoid Peter is drawn. And we finally have actual subtlety with these animals in the background, which I'll get to a bit later. Spider-Man also low-key has a panic attack, and I love this upside down dialogue. This issue has some serious sauce. Oh, in this fucking world, man, the therapist instantly is like, you have schizophrenia. I also love this interaction between Flash and JJJ, especially when he's like, go play in traffic. But obviously the therapist is creating these hallucinations, and this is how you do an issue with no fight scene right. Because it turns out the psychiatrist is Mysterio. Let's fucking go. Good shit. And he was using those animals to project the hallucinations. And not only is Mysterio a good twist on its own, but it's a double twist that JJJ is the one to accidentally save the day, which is just so great. I think this is a very, very high A tier material. As we start the next issue, I'm reminded of one of the things Stan Lee wrote in the first volume's preface, and that was J. Jonah Jameson is not, nor has ever intended to be a pure villain. But this issue does not corroborate that. J. Jonah Jameson in this universe is like absurdly important, and you would think like he's like a Logan Roy, Charles Foster Kane type shit, but honestly like the Scorpion, fucking Mysterio, the Joe Exotic motherfucker, they all like sought him out prior to fighting Spider-Man like he was the fucking president. So naturally this inventor comes to him with this MacGuffin to catch Spider-Man, and I just don't like JJJ as much when he's this on the nose evil. I kind of prefer an antagonistic tease, if you will. The plus side of this is we get Betty trying to save the day, which is pretty dang adorable, and her strength is still, she's just a really sweet character, and I don't think she's had any other representation that I can think of, which is a shame because she's mad underrated. Also, speaking of underrated, we finally see Mary Jane. Kind of, and it's funny that Betty and Liz, who stumble upon her before Peter, are like overwhelmed at her beauty. But the love rectangle still doesn't do it for me, at least not like this hilarious looking robot JJJ pilots to catch Spider-Man. I won't bore you, Peter wins, but it's cute. All the main casts get these nice little character moments. Liz, Betty, Aunt May, Flash, it's balanced really well. B tier. I already know though at this point, whenever there are two issues that are good, the next one is bound to be dog shit. And this is proving me right with the latest of our generic villains, the Crime Master. That is his actual name, I'm not making this up. They do try and fit in one cute moment though when Aunt May finds Peter's suit, so Peter buys a Spider-Man costume and you can kind of see throughout the issue how shitty it is when it comes apart. But the Crime Master's master plan is to be the master of crime. What the fuck did you think I was gonna say? Green Goblin is here contractually, and they can't defeat Spider-Man for plot reasons, and the issue ends in a cliffhanger. I just feel like this is watered down a little bit too much, so it's another C tier. What's nice about the next issue though is it gets to do all of the payoff that we just set up, namely, what's Green Goblin up to? Who is the Crime Master? And who will Peter Parker take on a date? Aww. I just love these, man. They just bring a smile to my face. Can I call them critical masterpieces? No, but read this and try not to grin. If you dig an action-packed, old-fashioned cops and robbers mystery yarn, this one is for you. But even if you don't like this kind of story, read it anyway. It may just change your mind. Oh, but this issue is just like a long fight scene. And again, why do the cops get to capture the bad guy? It's so weird. Like, you're telling me the Crime Master nearly beat Spider-Man, but can't handle a couple of policemen? Anyways, turns out Foswell helped the police and the Crime Master is a no-named grunt. Cool. Green Goblin gets away as usual, but Peter does take Aunt May out to the movies, so that's pretty darn adorable, and it does end with this gem of a line. And as the shades of night blanket the silent city, we leave you with this thought. Isn't there a little Peter Parker in all of us? No, there's not. D tier. Actually, there's another cute moment when Peter tries to sell photographs to this rival newspaper, so I'll give it C tier. But that really did not need to be a double issue story. And in the next issue, we already have our fourth or fifth, depending on how you count like this thing, original villain of the video, but this cover is so damn cool. I'm into it. and my man is graduating high school? I always thought this would like exist in some time loop, but I wonder like, do the next 500 issues not take place in high school? Because I thought like Marvel's whole deal is that they didn't do continuity resets. Speaking of continuity, they changed Liz's last name for a single panel, which is kind of funny, I guess. But here's Molten Man. Also, I don't think this is the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't know how many golden guys like this can there really be. Low key though, the art does slap here. Maybe we can have a tiddlywinks contest. It really is though, a lot of they fight. The graduation though is fantastic. Peter and Flash both get scholarships to the same college, and they have JJJ as the commencement speaker. Like, what is this guy's role in society? I thought you were his sister. This fucking guy. The graduation alone makes this issue a respectable B tier. And now we have our second annual, and the first one is my favorite of the entire series. So I'm all in for this one, and we get some Doctor Strange. Hell yeah. Our villain is this guy Xandu, and I just love mustache twirling villains. He is so over the top, and he's got one of my favorite villain tropes of all time, having two henchmen. I just love it when the villain has two henchmen. But also, this one is not Sandman, apparently. As for comic Doctor Strange, he's alright. I have faith that this is not the seminal Doctor Strange comic, I'll say that. This is really the first time we've seen magic in this world though, and it does add a really cool dimension to these fights. As with annual issues, the art is stellar. I love it when Peter goes into this like dimension hopping mode, and it's like super retro futurist. And Doctor Strange and Spider-Man's fighting style really complement each other. It's like the first dual fight I've seen that really plays off each other in a natural way. All in all, a very nice time. And as tradition goes with these annual issues, we get a full gallery of all of the villains we've seen since the last one, but the iconicness of these guys is definitely a step down. It's a nice recap of what I've just read, but unfortunately nowhere near the first annual. Still though, a nice A tier, although a low one. And now, ladies and gentlemen, mid. But at least they have some fun with the blurb. On the surface, this may seem to be a superhero action thriller, but if you probe deep down and you analyze each subtle nuance, if you dissect each philosophical phrase, if you study each non-existential panel, you'll discover that it is actually a superhero action thriller! Scorpion escapes. And you'll never guess this, guys. You'll never guess this. They fight, and wait for it, Spider-Man wins. Oh yeah! The cops come in, and the Scorpion is like, "Oh no, they have guns. I gotta flee." And I'm not even trying to knock how OP cops are, but I didn't realize like guns are your weakness. Like, why can't J. Jonah get one? In fact, you like rarely see any non-cop with a gun. I thought this was America. This fight also has an insane amount of quips. I have a pretty high tolerance, but this drove me nuts. F tier. It's interesting how in the last video they really had a ton of returning villains, but here there's been like almost none. New villain, same shit. I do like the art though. And the cops saved the day again. I didn't realize I was watching The Dark Knight Rises. That was poo. F tier. Well, that was Spider-Man's issues 20 through 30, but I'm really excited because next time, not only does it apparently get really good, but I am finally concluding Ditko's time with the character. I really feel like I'm getting in a nice groove with this stuff, but I do want to give myself some time to reflect before coming back. So if you have another hero or story you want me to read with fresh Gen Z eyes, hit me up with a comment. I read every single one. Next week, I want to do a top 10 comics of 2025 and kind of reflect on how some of my opinions have changed, so if you don't want to miss that, come on board and subscribe. I do feel like I have a parasocial relationship with this series now. I just can't use that in the score, because if you don't have that, I think you'd really hate most of this volume. So while it does hold a special place in my heart, the highest score I can give Spider-Man's issues 20 through 30 critically is a 3 out of 10. Feel bad giving it that score, but if what people are telling me is true, I'm really hoping the next one will be a lot higher. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Happy holidays. Have a good one. Peace.